It began with a phone call that froze Mark Dawson's world. His sister Emily, who lived alone in California, had been diagnosed with late-stage cancer. Mark, a practical man from Florida, stared at the phone in disbelief. "What do you mean, cancer? She sounded fine last month." The doctor's voice on the other end was gentle but firm. "It's aggressive, Mr. Dawson. She'll need treatment and family support." That night, Mark sat down with his wife, Lisa. The two of them had built a stable life in Florida, Mark working as a project coordinator, and Lisa as a freelance contractor. They had plans, projects, and a comfortable routine. But family comes first. Without hesitation, Mark said, "We're moving to California. Emily needs us." Lisa nodded. "Then let's go. We can work from there." They packed their lives into 2 suitcases and drove across the country. When they reached Emily's small home in Sacramento, she was frail but smiling. "I didn't think you'd actually come," she said weakly. Mark hugged her. "Of course I did. You're my sister." Over the next 2 years, their lives revolved around Emily's treatment. Mark drove her to every chemotherapy session, waited during long hospital nights, and managed her bills when she couldn't. Lisa cooked healthy meals, kept the house tidy, and brought comfort through laughter. They became her world. But despite every effort, Emily's health kept declining. On a gray November evening, her voice broke as she said, "Mark, I don't want you to worry about me anymore. You've done enough." A few days later, she was gone. The loss hit Mark hard. He felt a mix of grief, exhaustion, and quiet pride, believing his sister would rest peacefully knowing her brother had been there for her. Then came the lawyer's letter. The family gathered in the office for the will reading. Mark expected little, maybe just a token of remembrance. But when the lawyer said, "Emily Dawson leaves her entire estate, including her house, savings, and investments, to her cousin, Sarah Wells," Mark's head shot up. "What?" Lisa's face turned pale. "That must be a mistake." The lawyer adjusted his glasses. "No mistake. Everything goes to Sarah Wells. Mr. Dawson is listed only as trustee." Mark couldn't speak. He had cared for his sister for years, while Sarah, a distant cousin from Oregon, hadn't even called once. That moment planted the seed for what would become one of the most emotional courtroom confrontations of Mark's life. The case quickly reached Judge Judy's courtroom, where family tensions boiled into legal fire. Mark sat beside Lisa at the plaintiff's table. Across the room, Sarah Wells sat coolly with her attorney, arms crossed and a smug look on her face. When the cameras started rolling, Judge Judy entered. The room fell silent. "Mr. Dawson," she began, scanning the file, "your complaint says you and your wife gave up your life in Florida to take care of your sister. You want to clarify that?" Mark leaned forward. "Yes, Your Honor. We dropped everything. We moved across the country for her." Judge Judy raised an eyebrow. "But according to these records, your wife is a contractor who works all over. You were still working here in California, correct?" Mark hesitated. "Yes, Your Honor, but that's only because we had to survive. We didn't move here for work. We came because Emily needed us." Lisa interjected softly, "We were her only support, Your Honor." Judge Judy turned to her sharply. "Ma'am, I'll get to you. For now, let your husband speak." Lisa went quiet. Judy flipped a few more pages. "Your sister, Emily Dawson, was unmarried. No children, correct?" "Yes." "And you were her closest living relative?" "Yes, ma'am." "Then tell me," Judy said, leaning forward, "why do you believe she left her entire estate to her cousin, Ms. Wells?" Mark exhaled, "That's what I don't understand. Sarah barely knew Emily. They talked maybe once a year. Meanwhile, we were there every day." Judge Judy tilted her head. "So you're saying this will doesn't make sense emotionally?" It doesn't make sense at all, Your Honor. Sarah spoke up. With all due respect, Emily told me she wanted to help me after my divorce. She said Mark and Lisa were doing fine financially. Mark turned toward her. That's not true. You didn't even visit her. Judy clapped her hands once. Stop. Both of you. This isn't family therapy, it's a courtroom. The silence returned. Judy looked at Mark again. This is why these cases are always messy. People think inheritance is about fairness. It's not. It's about what's written. Mark's jaw tightened. I understand that, Your Honor, but this feels wrong. Judy sighed. It may feel wrong, but feelings don't change the law. Now, tell me about this trustee arrangement. Judge Judy examined the documents carefully. Mr. Dawson, your sister made you the trustee of her estate. That means you were responsible for managing her property until it was handed over to Ms. Wells. Correct? Yes, Your Honor. Yet you claim you were blindsided by the will. Mark nodded. Completely. I had no idea she planned to leave everything to Sarah. We never discussed it. Lisa added, we were with Emily every single day. We saw her pain, her hope. And she always said, you two are my rock. We thought that meant something. Judge Judy looked unimpressed. Well, maybe she did trust you, just not with her money. She trusted you to handle things responsibly. That's why she made you trustee. Mark's voice cracked. I wasn't angry about not getting the money, Your Honor. I just didn't understand why she left it to Sarah. We did everything for her. Sarah rolled her eyes. Emily said you were too controlling. She told me you questioned every financial move she made while she was sick. Mark snapped, that's because she couldn't even sign checks some days. Someone had to handle her bills. Judge Judy raised her hand. Enough. I get it. There was tension, illness, and family stress. But we're here to talk facts. As the hearing went on, it became clear that the will was airtight. Emily's lawyer had double-checked everything before she died. There were witnesses, signatures, and not a single legal loophole. Judge Judy asked quietly, did you ever ask your sister about her will before she passed? Mark shook his head. No, ma'am. That would have felt wrong. She was dying, I couldn't talk about money. Judy nodded. Understandable. But you have to accept this truth, it was her decision. Whether fair or not, she had that right. Mark's eyes filled with tears. Then why make me trustee? Why make me carry the burden? Judy's tone softened slightly. Maybe because she did trust you with responsibility, but not reward. Maybe she thought you'd honor her wishes, even if they hurt. That struck a nerve. Mark looked down at his hands, trembling. Lisa whispered, she broke his heart, Your Honor. Judge Judy looked at both of them and said firmly, this court doesn't deal with broken hearts, Mrs. Dawson. It deals with broken contracts, and this one isn't broken. The ruling wasn't over yet, but everyone could already feel which way it was heading. Months passed after the hearing. Mark finally handed over control of Emily's estate to Sarah, as the court ordered. He thought the nightmare was over, until a new storm began. Sarah claimed several valuables were missing from Emily's condo, a laptop, a jewelry box, and a damaged adjustable bed. She accused Mark of stealing them before handing over the property. Mark was livid. That's ridiculous. I left everything exactly how it was. When the matter came back before Judge Judy, she didn't look amused. Mr. Dawson, Ms. Wells claims you removed personal property from your sister's home. Is that true? Mark stood firm. No, Your Honor. The only things I took were photos and letters Emily gave me herself. Did you have any written proof? No, ma'am. It was a conversation. Just her word. Judy sighed. Well, unfortunately, her word can't be verified now. That's the problem with these sentimental claims. Sarah's attorney handed over photos showing the damaged bed and a missing laptop receipt. Your Honor, this is clear evidence of mismanagement. Mark's frustration boiled over. That's not evidence, it's accusation. I spent my own money maintaining that condo. Lisa spoke up tearfully, we cleaned, repaired, and even paid bills out of our pocket. And now she's accusing us. Judge Judy's tone grew stern. Mrs. Dawson, you're not on trial, but let me remind you, trustees have a duty to document everything. Without that, you leave room for doubt. Mark's shoulders dropped. We never thought we'd need receipts. We were grieving, not bookkeeping. The judge leaned forward. And that's the danger of mixing family and money. Grief makes people sloppy. Money makes them angry. Sarah looked smug. All I want, Your Honor, is accountability. My cousin worked her whole life for that money. Judy shot her a cold glance. Don't act like a saint, Ms. Wells. You didn't visit your cousin once while she was dying. So let's not play the guilt card. Sarah went silent. Judge Judy continued, I'll say this once, there's no hard proof that Mr. Dawson stole anything. But there's also no evidence proving he didn't mishandle things. It's one of those unfortunate gray areas. Mark's voice broke, all I ever wanted was to do right by her. Judy replied, then do it now, by letting this go. The courtroom went quiet again, the air heavy with unspoken pain. Judge Judy looked down at her notes for a long moment. Then she folded her hands. Mr. Dawson, she began, I see no evidence that you acted dishonestly. However, the will is valid. Your sister's estate legally belongs to Ms. Wells. This case is dismissed. Mark closed his eyes. The words hit like a hammer. Lisa whispered, it's over, Mark. But he didn't move. Judge Judy softened her tone slightly. Mr. Dawson, I can see you cared deeply for your sister. But sometimes, doing the right thing doesn't bring the reward you expect. That's life, and it's unfair, but it's real. Mark nodded slowly. I understand, Your Honor. She continued, if your sister chose to leave her money elsewhere, that was her right. Maybe she thought Sarah needed it more. Maybe she had her reasons. Death doesn't always come with explanations. Sarah avoided Mark's gaze. For the first time, her confidence wavered. Judy leaned back. I'll leave you with one piece of advice. When someone dies, don't measure their love by what they leave behind. Measure it by what they shared while they were alive. That sentence echoed through the courtroom. Mark stood, voice trembling. Thank you, Your Honor. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed as the case closed. Lisa took Mark's hand, her eyes red from tears. Maybe Emily did what she thought was best, she whispered. Mark looked up at the California sky. Maybe. But I just wish she'd told me why. They walked away slowly, hand in hand. No money, no inheritance, just memories and unanswered questions. Sometimes, the hardest part of losing someone isn't their death, it's realizing you never really understood their choices. As the screen fades, Judge Judy's final words replay in the audience's mind. When it comes to inheritance, don't expect fairness, expect reality.